Hello, and welcome everyone. Today's video features the USS Tennessee. Now, the USS Tennessee was the lead ship of her class. The Tennessee class of battleships were a direct evolution from the New Mexico class, distinguished not only by their silhouette, but also by enhanced torpedo protection and the revised secondary artillery placement. Now, following Pearl Harbor, the USS Tennessee underwent two modernizations that altered her appearance and significantly bolstered the ship's defenses against airstrikes and underwater attacks. USS Tennessee had an eventful combat career during World War II, participating in key engagements such as the Battle of the Surigao Strait and providing naval bombardments for the landings on Iwo Jima and Okinawa. USS Tennessee would go on to earn 10 battle stars during her service. This American battleship, Tennessee, she provides a different spin on the gameplay of the Vermont tech tree line. Tennessee is sure to be a good fit for captains that do enjoy large, accurate salvos. She carries a main battery of 12 356mm guns, featuring extremely good accuracy, a fast reload and long range. Now, typical for American standard type battleships, Tennessee is very slow in a couple of aspects. Her turret traverse can only be described as literally glacial, and her top speed is very slow. While she has a rather small hit point pool for a Tier VIII battleship, Tennessee does have a few tricks up her sleeve. Very good concealment, which will allow you to pick your fights carefully, and for consumables, a long duration damage control party, which very good for mitigating fires. Her repair party has a very quick 40-second cooldown, and a choice of fighter and spotting aircraft for versatility. Now, I will remind you, USS Tennessee is in testing. What you see here in port, the volunteer state, is simply a test name for the USS Tennessee. So let's go through the ship's complete stats, starting with the armor layout. You can very quickly go through this. 32mm bow, upper and lower. The main deck is 32mm. The auxiliary room armor plating, also 32. Superstructure 19. Again, 32mm of stern plating. There is an aft end armor belt of 203mm, providing some additional support and protection for the rudder. This is a torpedo bulge, 35mm. We remove this, we can see the belt armor inside. 343mm of Citadel protection casemate armor. If we look at internal armor, we can see the Citadel is nicely protected, submerged underneath the waterline. Battleship also 343, lower section of 35, same 343mm of protection here on the front Battleship. So, quite decent armor protection. If we just very quickly look at the turrets, frontal plate of 457, side plate 254, 229, 127 on the top plate, and the rear plating is 229mm. So pretty decent armor protection. Tier VIII battleship, USS Tennessee. But this ties into the survivability, 59,000 hit points, and a torpedo protection damage reduction of 35%. Now, this is further reinforced by having 5 repair parties. I am using my Halsey Captain with Superintendent, providing an extra charge. This is the build I'm using at the moment for testing purposes. In terms of upgrades, nothing really out of the ordinary. I've gone with main battery mod 2 to try and speed up these turrets as they're quite slow. I've gone with prop mod and concealment. So here you have a choice between fighter and spotting aircraft. Again, really nice cooldown You can get the cooldown down to 38 seconds on this repair party. So, quite useful. So, let's take a look at the main battery. Now, what really makes this main battery stand out is the tight shell grouping and low dispersion numbers. So you get 12 of these 356mm barrels. 2 turrets, 4, 2 aft, both super firing, positioned above the other. These have a 28-second reload with this build. They can rotate 180 degrees in 41.7 seconds. Quite slow. Max dispersion, however, excellent at 172 meters. Just to give you a comparison, if we were to ever so quickly look at something like Kansas, say for example, you can see 12 guns with a max dispersion of 323 meters. Another quick comparison, say with Massachusetts, 243 meters max dispersion, Alabama, 271 meters max dispersion. So you get an idea very, very quickly how accurate these guns are on USS Tennessee. Max dispersion of 172 meters. The max firing range is 20.2 kilometers. Again, you do get access to the spotting aircraft for an additional 20%. You fire both armor piercing and high explosive. The high explosive has a max damage of 5,000, 30% fire chance, can pen 59mm of armor with a shell speed of 861 meters per second. The armor piercing has a max damage of 10,500, 10,500 with a shell speed of 823 meters per second. Moving to the secondary battery, USS Tennessee gets 16 of these 127mm barrels in 8 twin-mounted turrets, firing high explosive with a 6-second reload. Base range is 6.6 kilometers. Max damage of 1800 with a 5% fire chance. They can pen 21mm of armor and have a shell speed of 792 meters per second. So 16 of these 127s in total. USS Tennessee also gets access to the depth charge airstrike, operational range of 10 kilometers with a reload time of 30 seconds. Get 2 available flights, each with 1 attacking aircraft, dropping 2 bombs with a max damage of 4,200. Moving on to the AA defense, USS Tennessee gets 41 of these single-mounted Oerlikons, 20mm guns, spread all over the ship. 41 of these in total. An additional 14 quad-mounted Bofors for 40mm. Quite impressive. AA guns, 40mm Bofors. This is further enhanced by the dual-purpose secondaries, these 127s that we just looked at. 16 127s are dual-purpose. All combined, they pump out a continuous average damage of 301. The majority is spread between short and medium range. USS Tennessee can fire 6 shell explosions per flak salvo with a hit probability of 75%. Action zone 3.5 to 5.8 kilometers. You get a priority sector reinforcement of 35%. Action and prep time both 15 seconds. And the max firing range of these guns is 5.8 kilometers. In terms of maneuverability, it is a slow ship. We take off the speed flag. Base speed is 20.5 knots. With the speed flag, 21.5. Turning circle radius is quite good. very good in fact, 640 meters for a battleship, and the rudder ship time is 14.8. Now I am using the prop mod at the moment. You can reduce this down to 11.9. So finally, stats wise, concealment rating of 58. This is with a full stealth build using concealment system, and concealment expert, reducing the concealment down to 11.4 kilometers for enemy ships. You will be surface detected at 8.4 by enemy subs and enemy aircraft. So this is the USS Tennessee. Now again, for all intents and purposes, this is operating as the volunteer state during testing, but it's the USS Tennessee. So I will remind you, it is a work in progress. It will be subject to changes throughout the testing process, of course, balancing changes. So very, very accurate main guns, which is always very, very nice. It feels great to be rewarded for having aimed in a particular good way, to be rewarded with accurate gun salvos. So I hope you enjoyed this little preview guide of the USS Tennessee. More videos will be uploaded in the coming days with more test ships, and if you'd like to see some live gameplay, feel free to come over and visit me on Twitch. You can see the link here on screen. I look forward to seeing you all.